Where should we go today? Archer Village? Oh, okay. Let's see. Just make the announcement. I thought you were used to be able to. Okay. Just announce it. Hmm. Hmm. That's okay, guys. We're gonna start in a little bit here. Okay. Probably gonna go with that. But the only thing is, if I click, yeah, wise I don't make it appear like I couldn't press where to cast on skill when it's the config. You have to remove the hotkey on Q because it bugs it out. Okay. Anyway, we're about to start here, so I'll answer questions later. Alright, I am gonna send you two things for your reference, unless I already did. Let me just send it anyway. You probably saw it in the officer chat as well. Yeah, so basically today we're just gonna do that, and I think we have we're gonna have a guest. I wanted to speak out a little bit on the current rivalry between all the guilds. Okay, let me just bring him in now. Let's see, can I actually drag him in here? There you go. Yeah. There we go. Alright, so before we start, let me just our videos here. Okay, so we haven't done this in a while, but okay, Mostly because it was my fault. Actually, it's 100% my fault because I ended up being so busy that I completely forgot it was Sunday already, and I ended up falling asleep. But it was pretty hectic, yeah. But yeah, welcome everybody to the episode number 5 of the Dynasty podcast. Today we actually have a guest, Linky, who is going to speak and has opinions on the current standing of all the guilds in the Prontera and the Izlude servers. We're so this list was kind of brought to you by Gio, who also hosts the podcast called Ragnarok, which is on Spotify. And yeah, so this week's episode we're going to be discussing starting the ones in Prontera. So is there any question that you may have to towards Linky here? Just like, I'm not putting you on the spot right now, I'm just like telling you in advance so you can ask him soon. But before we start, Linky, can you give us like a quick introduction of yourself before we get on to the topic at hand? Welcome.
Most of the time I do play MOBA games. So that's it.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Can you say that again? I have to edit that because I usually have Discord muted and I forgot the whole time. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Should I introduce myself again?
Yes, please.
Yes,
I would love to hear you again.
All right. So I'm Linky. I'm also a streamer, and I also play Ragnarok Origin. But most of the time, I do play MOBA games like Dota 2.
All right.
That's it.
We're Dota 2 players. Anyway, so yeah. So this list right here, as I said before, it was compiled by Gio, who was also in Dynasty. I went ahead and asked the people in the Rue Discord who the current number ones were in each server, and right now he managed to compile the list for Prontera and Izlude. And Thai, can you kick us off with the top 10 top 1 guilds in the Prontera servers, and then we can go ahead and ask Linky what his thoughts are on the current top guilds.
Okay, so for Prontera 1, we have Legends. Prontera 2, we have Outcasts. Prontera 3 is it The Room?
The Room.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Prontera 4, Frenzy. Prontera 5, we have Moonlight. Prontera 6, Rug Pull. Prontera 7, Teen Meow. Prontera 8 is Mana. Prontera 9, Emperor. Oh god, sorry.
Emperor PH.
Emperor. Oh, is it Emperor PH?
PH.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually
So
they put
Prontera
the
9. Prontera 9 is Emperor PH. Prontera 10 is Orange.
All right. Yeah.
And those are our top 10 of Prontera.
Prontera top. All the top 1 guilds in the Prontera servers from Prontera 1 to Prontera 10 respectively. So to kick it off, is there any? Let's start it off first. Like, Linky, what are your thoughts in this current one? Is this like what you expected? Is this does this list make sense to you? Are there people on this list that are missing from what your expectations? And what are your overall thoughts on on them as a whole, and then on the individual guilds if you have any opinions on them?
I could say that Rug Pull and Mana is expected to be top 1.
Mm-hmm.
I would be disappointed if they didn't get that top 1 spot, but I'm not quite familiar with other guilds, but Mana and Rug Pull, yeah, it's to be expected.
Mana and Rug Pull is to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
The Prontera 1, I'm not sure, is it actually Legends that was rank 1, or was it Monster? Because I believe Monster was slated to be the top guild in Prontera 1. Not sure if that's like an error on the Global Rue Discord's end, but Yeah, Legends is also one of the, it was actually a toss up from what from what I've heard on the global Discord. There was a toss up between Legends and Monster, and yeah, you know, those are the two guilds that are expected to be top in Prontera 1. Obviously Prontera 4, Frenzy, we saw them in CBT, right? They did really well. I expected to see them here. Everybody else, I'm not quite sure. But I would love to get to know all these other guilds more. And Thai, do you have any particular question towards Linky regarding these any of these guilds, or in general?
In general. Oh gosh. Well, what is your opinion, Linky, of how this turnout is?
Opinion towards how this turned out.
Hmm.
Actually, for me, it depends per server. Like, for example, in Prontera 1, if Legends had any competition, was it relatively easy to get top 1?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and for Rugpull on Prontera 6, did they have competition? Or they just stormed out the whole server with all of their players, like whales, then no competition, then it was easy. But quite hard to say right now. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely like a major factor. I did hear that Prontera 1 was like where there was a lot of competition, for sure.
ooh,
I do believe probably, like, yeah, there's certain servers that have like the most competition. One of them is definitely Prontera 1. You know, you have Legends in there, you have Monster in there, like these two huge guilds to start with, and you also have like guilds like Panda in there that were from NA. And I know that's like that was a very hot topic in Discord. I was actually asleep the whole time that it was happening, but from what I was told, there was a bit of drama and some spiciness to the Discord, in the global Discord actually. And if I can try to, I think it was between, let me go ahead and double check here. I think it was between Monster and Panda. It was like some huge like drama or whatever. I don't think it was actually drama. I think it was actually more just like trash talking. Yeah. Yeah, so basically there was a lot of fighting words in here. Although, like, I gotta give props to Panda because like they actually started the trash talk early before everything was like secure. And they actually knew that, I think, like from the chat that I'm viewing here, they actually knew from the get-go that I think it was Legends is actually top 2 from what I'm seeing here, and it's actually Monster that's top 1. So a bit of a correction there. Number 1 is Monster, number 2 is Legends, number 3 is Aods, number 4 is Zeus, and number 5 is Panda at the moment, followed by Void, Thai, and what I'm guessing is Monster's second guild, Baby Monster. But yeah, that's that based on the screenshot that I quickly pulled up here. So quick clarification, I did from what I saw in the official Discord, at some point in time there was actually some acknowledgement from Panda stating that Monster is expected to be the number 1 guild in Prontera 1, and that's why they wanted to go there. They wanted to be part of that whole competition. You know, I remember we had also attempted people to try to go in there, and I think out of the 330 that we had, only 70 people made it to the character login screen, the character creation screen, and that's when we had to like try all the other servers, and then we couldn't get anybody in all the servers until we got to Izlude 7. So that's why we ended up there. But yeah, looking at this list, you know, and look at all the the trash talk on the Discord here. It's getting really spicy in Prontera 1. Now we've the first thing that I found here right away was somebody a person called Papiso saying after Geo had asked for a compilation, he said that compile this and send Panda to where they belong. Go back to NA. No match for Asia. Too spicy to handle. No bamboos here for you. At Rolo at Kenny, you can't troll now. Asia boys are your daddies. Oh my goodness, this is some spicy Southeast Asia trash talk right here. Yeah, and from what I'm reading here, this is this guy is actually from Monster, which is that's a lot of hostility. Even though Panda had already acknowledged that that Monster was going to be #1, but you know, you still like to see it. You still like to see the trash talk, the you know, the banter, and knowing Panda, they won't get offended by this one. They love the banter.
Knowing Panda,
yeah,
they will.
This actually motivates them even more. They like this type of stuff. So you know, looking forward to, you know, level 70, level 80, level 90. You know, that's like the meta that everybody's more attuned to. 100, level 100, 110. But yeah, really interesting to see all this spicy trash talk. Have you guys been following this at all in the global Discord? This is so
I only saw it recently too. Once all the compilations of where the top 10 on each server was.
So
but I only knew that there was a lot of competition in Front 1 for sure.
Yeah, it is probably one of the most competitive servers right now, if not the most competitive server. Yeah, seeing all this trash talk, it would have been fun to go there, but again, you know, we had to prioritize the 300 something people that we had gotten there to begin with. But yeah, there is some very, very spicy trash talk, and I'll pull it up here too. If you guys want to see it on stream, and I'll read it out here. This is some spicy Southeast Asian trash talk that I love. I love it and I miss. Oh yeah, this is actually the thing that like Rolo was mentioning. Prontera 1 looks like they had expected Monster, Alt F4 to be the reigning, you know, guilds in there. They had actually put themselves in #3. Definitely Aeons and Zeus. I've never heard of these guilds before, but I would love to know more about them. But what's from the same person again is, it looks like here, from Papiso. Yeah, he said, go back to NA. You tasted sea power now. You will go extinct here. I will give 3 months tops. Panda equals extinct in Asia. All talk before, all silent now. And then he gave like a Wikipedia description of one of the main reasons that the panda populations have declined in is habitat destruction. This is some
God damn, bro.
yeah, this is some intense trash talking here. I've yet to
no stop.
Yeah, I've yet to see trash talk as crisp as this from other servers, and I think that's probably why the opinion of like, is there competition in their servers is kind of getting into the picture here. But yeah, Linky, what do you think? What do you think of that? Is that like expected trash talk from your end, or is it like too mild, or is it too spicy?
It's too spicy, bro.
It's too spicy. Okay.
Yeah.
Even for Linky, wow.
Like, it's a lot of competition there right now, so I would expect a lot of trash talking happen.
Yeah.
But we will see once the meta shifts. I think Panda might have something up in their sleeve. I still can't say anything, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you know,
definitely a lot of time to catch up.
Yeah. So basically, what this all just kind of says is that like any of these guilds in the top, probably like 7 in the server, can pull out something like, something good. So that's definitely something that we're gonna have to keep discussing as the weeks go forward. This Prontera 1 alone is full of spice already, and we haven't even started with 2 to 10. Yeah, so if you can we'll try to reach out to other representatives from all the other top guilds, see what their opinion is on this, and how the situation is in their servers. But again, Prontera 1 expected. Prontera 4 with Frenzy, familiar name, we saw them before. Rug Pull, same thing. We expected them to do well. Mana, we expected them to do well. Do you guys have any idea of the other guilds on this list? Have you ever heard of them before?
No, I've never seen any of these other guilds.
Gotcha. Okay. Linky?
No idea with the other guilds, only Rug Pull and Mana. Was Alt F4 in Front 1?
I had heard a rumor that Alt F4 actually merged with one of the other top guilds.
Oh, I see.
But that's a rumor, though. That's a rumor. I don't know if that's actually true, but I don't see them on the list here, and I definitely 100% expected them to be one of, if not the top guild in whatever server that they were going to. So hopefully we get somebody who can clarify that that rumor. Any other opinions on all the other guilds so far? Any banter that you guys have noticed in the global Discord?
I have seen one though, but it was kind of mild.
Mild, okay. What was it about?
It was from like someone was trash talking the guild leader from Loki.
Loki.
It was before OBT, so there was discussions like this guy was calling out, like, not exact words, but he was trying to say like, where's all the good people here, the veteran people here? Let's go to Prontera 1. Then he screenshotted the guy, the guild leader from Loki. Then the guild leader from Loki answered, match my top up first, like my catnips.
Oh,
show me your top up before you even talk.
That is some spice right there. But he probably was justified in saying what he said, because a lot of the times, a lot of these people tend to talk a lot of trash on alt accounts. So, him trying to get some credibility from somebody who is obviously trying to instigate is a really good, really good and really expected. So, let's see here. I'm trying to look into other guilds here by searching it on the global Discord, but haven't quite found anything yet. Okay. But yeah. Alright, so no other opinion on all the other guilds so far, right? Like, I would definitely like for people to see this podcast when we release it, and then kind of like put into kind of like put their inputs on the other guilds, or if any representative from those said guilds are willing to to be a guest on the podcast, we would love to have you and kind of like share your experiences in your respected servers. Lexter said, I think I know them. Ooh, share a little bit of that spice. Alright, so moving on from the Prontera server is the Izlude server. We haven't quite compiled the list from the Payon, I believe, Payon and Morok servers, but we do have one for the Izlude so far. Again, made by Geo, from Dynasty, also host of the Ragnarok podcast on Spotify, as you can see in the lower right here. So Izlude 1 so far is being, from what I've seen, it's been a very close fight between Crescent and Anonymous, I believe, from what I've seen in Izlude 1, but Crescent obviously coming out on top. And let's see, Izlude 2 is a guild called Valhalla. I'm not sure if that's the same Valhalla I know, but if it is, then as expected that they are top of that. Provoke, also a familiar name, coming out on top in Izlude 3. Izlude 4 is a guild called Scammer. I don't know much about them. Izlude 5, Bubble Gang. Izlude 6, LNW Guild. Izlude 7 is yours truly, Dynasty, and Izlude 8 is Hubris. Izlude 9 is Andor, and then Izlude 10 is Project X. Any opinions on these two guilds so far, Thai?
No.
No?
No, the only one I know is ours on this list.
Gotcha. Alright, Linky, any familiar names in here?
Actually, no idea. But I've seen a post last Saturday about Crescent and Anonymous, like on the RRO Global. Like they were just, it wasn't trash talk. They were just acknowledging that GG's to Anonymous, that they were really great. They're strong. Like they were acknowledging the guild.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much talk from other servers, like from Izlude 2, 3, 4.
So far it's been quiet, is what basically what you're saying. Besides,
it's actually quiet.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's basically been quiet besides the the initial drama, and I do have a a top guild 10 guilds thing here in up on the screen, which is from Izlude 1. Again, Crescent coming out on top. Anonymous with their main and alt guild, it looks like, being on the top 2 and top 3. But again, Chama or Kama, led by Shua, is also the sister guild of Crescent as well. So it looks like Anonymous and Crescent are both neck and neck with dominating the server. So that is going to be some interesting. I wonder if we could actually pull Shua in here and try to see if we can get any type of insight on the current standing when it comes to the competition there. Like, I want to see if there are any 40v40 videos, and I want to see like how close are these 40v40s. Are the guild leagues or guild expedition, are they close, or is it more of a stomp? Does like each guild only take a certain amount of like minis because like it's too hard to compete otherwise? Or I want to see like what the neck and neck is here. But yeah, so you guys don't have any idea who the other guilds are besides these guys, right? So
Yeah.
okay. So I think we probably have a lot more familiarity with the guilds in Prontera 1 then. And so far, kind of like mild. Did you guys kind of expect this like type of like mild trash talk, or is this like because I mean when people talk about like Southeast Asia like banter and like trash talk, it's always known to be like either like really crisp or like really toxic sometimes. To varying degrees. And so is this like is the lack of banter, or do you think is it apparent in the global Discord, or do you think that is this expected, or do you think that I should try to invite all these guilds to a podcast Discord so that they can banter and trash talk all they want?
Oh god.
Without,
oh my god, I don't know if we should do that.
That would be fun, bro.
But yeah, as long as because I feel like if there's like too much, if it gets to like a certain level, obviously mods have to step in and things have to get deleted. But I think like I think healthy banter is good as long as it doesn't get personal. But Yeah.
Yeah, it was trash talking. It was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, for
Someone
sure.
had to light up the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because it's like the starting weeks of this game. Like definitely we're all learning places or like the level of each guild and players. But the degree of trash talk or like I assume it's gonna come out more as we go on. But so on Frontera 1, like that kind of trash talk I expected to happen eventually, but I guess I didn't expect it to happen like so soon.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I feel like eventually it will.
yeah, because I think it all started because because of Panda kind of like igniting the flames, kind of like a little bit, which is like
that's very Panda-esque.
it's very Panda-esque, yeah. So the good thing about that is like it does make things a lot more interesting, and they know that. They know that it's going to spark people to be more competitive. They even went so far as to calling out, other guilds as well that they know have been preparing. Kind of like I guess you could kind of say like an elite team almost. Like, because I know like they knew that Rug Pull was an amalgamation of like big guilds coming together and really trying to compete. Like I said, somebody said on the on chat here, Rug Pull has BBDR, which is known to be one of the biggest whales. And I myself, like, I didn't even play Southeast Asian servers before, but just when I played Black Desert Mobile, but I actually BBDR was such a big name that even I like ended up taking note of him while I was playing in the North American servers, because there was this guy that I was familiar with, just not personally, but like name wise, which was Saren. And when I saw him at the top rankings, I was like, okay, that's very, that's normal. That's normal to see. And then BBDR kind of came in and just stole the spot, like the number 1 spot in like probably like a day or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they were their guild. They were making waves back then. On Ragnarok Eternal Love. He was slowly wailing out until he formed the guild, and they were one-shotting MVPs with Afi. If you're familiar with Afi, champion class, just one-hitting MVPs. Then they were starting to get famous. Then I think they didn't migrate to ROX. They just stayed in Eternal Love. Then eventually in here, Origin.
Yeah. This is going to be basically the last RO for a very long time, which is probably a good thing, because this is one of the best, this is the best that we've had so far in terms of like Ragnarok games, and we've had a lot, right? So can you give me a bit of a background, because I've heard of him, I've heard of the guilds, but I don't actually know their backgrounds. So can you give me like a little bit more insight on, on the guilds behind, or the man behind the guild, or the guilds behind the, the reputation?
Me?
Yeah.
I only know a few people but not really close though. Like from a what viewer perspective.
From the outside looking in,
and Rafi Bot, who's famous for playing sniper in the Philippines, and of course Immortal MBCG. He was MBCG back then. Then he changed to MBGG.
Gotcha.
The guy for making guides. Guides.
Yeah.
Then Banoobs. If you're familiar with Banoobs.
Not quite, but
He didn't. Well, he's kind of a esports celebrity in the Philippines.
Nice.
And Shay, but I'm surprised he didn't migrate to Origin. He stuck with Eternal Love.
Eternal Love, yeah. Shay, I definitely know of. I listened to actually more than just one of his songs, and they were pretty catchy. He's like a hip hop like celebrity, right? So him I've definitely heard of. You know, love his music. But yeah, again, the man himself, BBDR. What's your perspective on him? Because like I don't have a lot of perspective on him. I just know him because he's just that big of a name.
Back then in Eternal Love, he didn't really talk too much. He was just doing his thing, bro. Like MVPs one-shotting them. Like, so I actually had no idea about his personal life, gaming life, but
yeah,
I do know he spends a lot.
Oh
He
yeah,
has the capacity
yeah.
to spend.
On every game that I've seen him so far, definitely. So, you know, so it's really good, really good. So even in Eternal Love, even in like my experience with you know, and you know, limited experience that I've seen his name in Black Desert Mobile in Southeast Asia, we've seen him on there as well. So he is no stranger to all these mobile games. Yeah. Somebody on chat said Shay and Alden already migrated on to Prontera 6. We saw some Risk and Myriad. I'm guessing those are their guilds, right?
Risk is for Shay's guild, but
Okay.
we have to confirm.
Okay. So the Prontera 6 would be same guild as Rugpo. So I guess like all the like majority of like the, you know, the big like Philippine guilds went to the to Prontera 6. I'm assuming. I'm assuming Prontera 9 as well. The top guild there is Emperor PH. PH usually being an indicator that it's a Filipino guild most of the time. But yeah, if anybody has any more insight on all these other guilds, would be good to hear. Yeah, Thai, do you have anything to add on to here with what you've heard so far?
No, I don't think so.
No? Gotcha.
Haven't heard too much outside of what I have already.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like there are not just the initial hype, but the ongoing momentum so far has resulted in other people kind of like considering that, like, hey, we should probably move over to Ragnarok Origin from the previous games, like, you know, Eternal Love and Ragnarok X Generations as well. But yeah, definitely excited to see where this is heading forward, and I would definitely love to hear more, you know, people's opinions, people's insight when it comes to these to the you know, to the current stand-up. And I think M2KY is saying he wants to stir up the pot in that Discord. It's gonna be yeah, I mean, you know, it's been mild so far, but then again, we're only really in like, we're not really in week, we haven't really been done with week 2 so far, even. No, like we're a few days off.
Yeah.
We're a couple days off from week 2, so it's expected. There is going to be more, and I'm pretty sure once like cross server is, you know, going forward, once it gets announced, it's going to be even more heated.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, but still very surprising to see the amount of trash talk, which I didn't think would set in the first. I think, I mean, from my search history here in the global Discord, you know, I just searched like Panda, and I actually wouldn't have known about this on you know, if somebody hadn't told me. But this was the post that I showed earlier was actually from 4/15. That was 3 days ago. So that was just like the beginning of week 2, and this is, you know, and right about the time when the top, I guess, top 100 guild ranking ended, and as soon as it ended, the trash talk started right away. And it's going to be very interesting how to see this thing like kind of develops as a whole. But yeah, besides Prontera 1, Can you guys take a guess? Which server do you think is going to start the trash talking
Oh.
next?
Well, I can't personally say because we don't. Well, I don't know much about the other guilds. All I know is I've heard from this chat is that Prontera 6 there is some competition for reg pull, so there could be a chance of it, but who knows?
Yeah. So far, potentially Prontera 6 is Risk or Risque and Myriad known to be to be competitive as well. Linky, do you think that they'll bring good competition to rug pull?
Shay's guild, I do know they're really competitive, but I'm not quite sure for Myriad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, based on my memories from Eternal Love, Shay has been competing with
the big guilds.
yeah, BBDR's guild.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting to see and hear. Ronell from chat actually said mostly in Prontera 6 is quite quiet. There's no trash talking. I guess rivalries are starting to get situated, and I'm pretty sure sparking the flame and all of this is going to start right away. Like I think let me try to pull up our rankings right now in Izlude 7 is that right now we are kind of dominating the server, but I am seeing a lot of guilds start to pop up and higher CP like Whale start to kind of start to form up together. Carnage is one of the bigger guilds that we are on the lookout for. Unknown is also a pretty active guild. I know we're going to be fighting Hermgerm tomorrow or today actually. So those are the 3 guilds that I'm kind of looking forward to so far. The Philippines guild is also quite active. I think it's just that was more towards like a Filipino community. I haven't heard of anything competitive from them, but yeah, the mentioned 3, not including the second guild of Carnage, obviously looks like they're going to be a competition, and really it's all going to spark a lot of banter pretty soon is what I'm guessing, and when that happens it's going to be really spicy.
I've noticed so far it hasn't been quite about the guild versus guild aspect, but more of the chaosing aspect that there has been kind of banter on our server.
Yeah, a lot of it that's also the thing. Yeah, you're correct. World chat has definitely been pretty heated. It's not so much heated in the Discord, but world chat is definitely heated. There have been cases of members from different guilds, not just the 2 guilds, right? Every single guild of people chasing other people into other channels to kill steal their stuff. Yeah. And Ronell asks why Dynasty didn't try to go in any Prontera server. We actually did, Ronell. I remember clearly we checked out Prontera 1. We had 330 plus members. We tried out Prontera 1 to 10 and Izlude 1 to 6, where we tried the character creation trick, which basically we tried to go into Prontera 1. The character creation trick is that you all try to get into character creation. This makes it so you can try out a server if it's already full, if everybody can get in. And what you do is you just stay in character creation, because if you don't create a character and you don't log into the game, even if you bought Nyans in CBT, it doesn't actually get applied. So you can actually test out, and we tested it out for Prontera 1. I think only 70 of us got in out of the 330. Prontera 2, 3 to all the way to 10 was the same. Izlude 1 was the same, all the way into Izlude 6. It was all the same results, and it was actually until Izlude 7 that we all majority of us managed to get in. I think only one person who overslept was not able to get in. So we ended up deciding that that was like the best move for us, basically. And yeah, have you guys actually? Defeat is mentioning something here. I've heard the name Delphine in World Chat a lot, but I have no clue who Delphine is. Do you guys know who Delphine is?
I think it's just because of the lucky drop. Then people started cursing him. It's I forgot what accessory he got from a MVP, but for sure it was not a card. It was an accessory.
Okay.
And people started cursing him for up until now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so he's not somebody with some infamous like reputation from another game or another server. He's just a person who happened to be lucky, or in some cases unlucky enough to.
Yeah, from what I remember, that's what happened, because I was just playing that time. Then it was a notif like Delphine got blah 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 an item. Then people started cursing him. Up until now, they won't stop.
What?
Because that was week 1. We're in week 2 now. And they're still like ongoing with the trash talk.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man. Okay, so it's actually
So
just
it's like
because
a
of
meme
that.
at this point.
Oh, so we said Delphine also won the first prize in the themed party. Oh. Oh. And she also won the Lucky Star event in week 1. And everyone is still trash talking. Oh god, suffering from success, man.
Yeah, so basically, if you get a drop, everyone will hate you.
Is there a way that you can turn off like the notification if you get a drop?
I wish.
And thank you, Linky, for the 2-month sub.
Sure, bro.
Oh man. Yeah, and alright, so what we're going to try to do in the future episodes as well is try to get more insight on all these other guilds in the Prontera and the Izlude servers. I know I can definitely speak for one of the Morok servers, I believe, KOK fam, which is led by Kenbu and his friends as well. So I could probably try to get more insight from that. So what our goal for the following episodes in the next week are going to be, trying to get more insight. Again, when this podcast gets uploaded on YouTube, and if anybody sees this podcast and you have something to say about these guilds, say it in the comments below, and then we'll bring those comments up on the next podcast as well. But yeah, I think that's all we have to say about the guild so far, right? Unless anybody else has anything else to add before we move on to questions.
Well, I was gonna say, the base needs to have a question.
Let's see. Do I scroll up or?
The Bay is asking, can you ask if other servers have AFK in West Morok taking DBs and BBs?
Can you ask if other servers have AFK in Morok taking DBs and BB? Oh, you mean like the huge crowd of people in West Morok? Maybe that I am not quite sure. Yeah, if anybody is from the other servers, do you guys have the same issue where people are crowding West Morok and kill stealing everybody?
Then stealing BBs and stuff.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, and Ariel asks, what are your thoughts on the pet system here in global server compared to NA? If you see the Prontera 6 guilds are getting wiped by max tier pets by the whales. So, I think we can all agree that like early game is always going to be pets versus players. The offensive pets start to fall off really hard as we get into the late game. There's a lot of ways to counter them. A lot of them tend to get one shot eventually in GVGs, and their effectiveness tends to wane a little bit. The pet system in global though compared to NA is definitely a lot weaker, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
NA
Yeah.
pets were imbalanced in NA. When the tier system was added, it still had the same skill system that NA had, which is actually, to put into perspective, it would probably cost you around, what is it, like 1,200, 1,400 bucks to get an S pet in NA before. And
Yeah.
despite that, that was actually the cheapest part of getting the S pet. The most expensive part is the skills, because you could customize whatever skill you want, so you could actually specialize your pet in damage, so they could actually do a lot of damage, right? Like in a PvP scenario, even towards the late game, even though they do tend to fall off. But you know, it was very RNG. Out of the 10 skills, even if you only had one skill and you put a new skill in there to customize it, there's a big chance that that first skill will actually get deleted by the one you just put in. So very like RNG, but also very OP once you get the optimal skills in there. It's a lot stronger than the pets in global, I can tell you that much. It is also much more expensive than global to begin with. So NA definitely a lot stronger, but regardless of NA or global, because of the scaling of the pets and because of how high they're allowed to scale in the beginning, S pets in the early game, even to some point in the mid game, are going to be very OP. But as we head on to the late game, the offensive ones start to wane a little bit, they start to fall off a little bit, and that's when the utility pets actually come into play. Like Son of Earth, I always recommend people, like what's called Child of Earth here, but I recommend people to get that maxed out as soon as possible. And then later on, the rabbit pet, probably like maybe next year in February, we'll get that again. But you know, but yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the pet so far, based on what you've experienced and what you know?
Oh, you can go first.
Okay, thank you. S pets are really a game changer, especially when I PD pulled my Earth Lord. It was like my XP like so fast, man. Like pulling other mobs from different parts of the map. Yeah, and casting my Meteor Storm. It's really a game changer, especially in Alfheim. Made my way to level 100 to 110, like easy. Made it really easy for me. Yeah. Because when I was doing Alfheim before I had my S pet, it was just class A pets. It was really hard. Like they can't really tank the monsters from Alfheim. But when I got Earth Lord, man, it was walk in the park.
Yeah. So Earth Lord is just a pet that, like, you know, for PvE especially, does just not fall off. Same thing with all the other utility pets. Again, offensive pets, they tend to fall off. And we'll see that. And you know, people that are worried about that right now, yes, it is always going to be like that. S pets are always going to be really strong early game, to some degree in the mid game as well. But late game, you don't have to worry as much. They tend to have a lot of counters. One thing to note as well is that a lot of these offensive pets, the element that they have is fire. Oni is fire, Danel's fire, the Fire Lord is fire as well. So later on in the game, when especially when sages come out, you know, firebolt spamming becomes a thing. A lot of like sages will main firebolt because of you know, fire damage, force, and also the fact that like you can actually magnum break to increase your fire damage. There's a lot of things that encourage people to go firebolt. Equip a Persona card, equip a Jack card if you have to, if you're really that worried about the pets being really OP, and it scales down their damage by a lot after that. So yeah, Thai, what are your thoughts? Because I know that you know firsthand from the very start of NA all the way until now in global when it comes to S pets. What are your thoughts on your experiences back then all the way towards now?
Well, I agree with Linky that an S pet is definitely a game changer. I don't have one yet here, but the difference between NA and here is like so different that like the pet system, I like it a lot despite like pets not being as strong as NA, but it's a lot more free to play friendly because we get so many of the free draw tickets. And like even the A pets are good because like Child of Earth, Son of Earth is an A, and they're really helpful, and you can get a lot of their like tiers up easier than you could on NA, because it was a lot of waiting on NA to even get the tier up. And then even on here, I am like halfway to getting an S pet finally, and then on NA I had to wait like a whole year to get an S pet, and that was from Pity when they eventually added Route 2.0.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely enjoy the pets on Global. Very free-to-play friendly. And if you're lucky to get an S pet, then you were blessed. But yeah, I agree that the Earthlord is such a game changer. Especially like for ET runs or anything, it can tank for you.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. You know, the difference between having an Earthlord and not having an Earthlord for for an AoE class is ginormous. Like, you know, like Craze said in the chat here, Earthlord pulls mobs from all the way from other servers, because it does have a huge range of like when it comes to pulling, and it's so useful for PvE content. It's crazy. I wish I had one, but I don't. Even though I got blessed with a Dano.
I will say though, if you're using an Earthlord in the PvE aspect, make sure you're not too close to other people, because they're gonna get pissed that you're dragging the mobs away from them.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of like you know, there's a lot of like, even in CBT there was a lot of like Earthlord competition in the grinding maps, where people were just practically competing, pulling the mobs from each other, and I noticed this a lot, especially when in the Mantis maps. I noticed this a lot. You know, and I know you guys played CBT as well. So what was your you know, experience in CBT with these Earthlords? Did you end up being in a mob pulling competition as well? Did you see people do the same thing, or?
Oh, I've been in the situation where I've seen someone pull a mob from me while I'm trying to CT, and it's pretty brutal because Earthlords will just take everything.
Oh my god, man! It's early.
As well, I have been pulling mobs from other people, bro.
And there's nothing you can do about it, right? Because like if you're in a spot, you just want to grind there, and it's like, I was like, oh, there's like 2 other mobs over there I want to pull, right? It's like, that's okay. Let me just take off my Earthlord, and then I'll have 2 extra mobs to pull. Is what you think, and then it starts pulling off map from other people's grinding spots, and then it becomes an issue. Oh god.
Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about the me pulling a Danelle last night. I finally managed to. I got lucky. 11th pull, got a Danelle, and then eventually I got to the Pity. And I was really hoping for an Earthlord, but instead I got another Danelle. And Ken say BVDR versus Valrath versus Mumia Wolf versus Little Fatty is gonna be spicy. I might be the odd man out there because like all of those 3 are humongous whales. You have to understand, I have spent $0 in this game. So if you put me in any type of 1v1 scenario against those guys, I'm gonna get deleted. Like, I can tell you that right now. The only reason I actually have Nyans in the game is actually because people have, like, sometimes I'll be playing and I'll just magically see like 4,800 pop up in the middle of my screen like that, and then, you know, I can actually show you right now. I think so far people have sent me Nyans enough to get to 50,925 on the Nyan jar, and this is all Nyans that people gave me. Some of them I knew who it was, some of them I have no idea, and they have not come forward. I will get like a random message sometimes where somebody will say like, hey, you don't know me, and I know that you hate wasting Nyans on gacha. Like, rolling pets, for example, because if you see my video about like where to spend your nyans, I discourage gacha, right? Gacha costumes, gacha for pets. I discourage it over refining and pulling cards instead, which cards is it is gacha, but like 8 times out of 10 it's profitable. And same thing with feathers as well. I encourage feathers a lot. But sometimes there are people who just want to watch the world burn, and I will get a message from an alt saying, you're about to receive X amount of nyans. I want to see you use it all to pull pets. And I think they just like to see the suffering in my eyes. But again, I'm not complaining. If I was spending the money, it definitely would never go to gacha like that. But if somebody uses their own money for me to pull, then I'm like, whatever. It was something that I wasn't going to have anyway. If that's what you want me to do, that's what I'm going to do, right? So, yeah, that's the experience that I've had so far. But yeah, again, you put me in a group with those 4 people, I'm going to get deleted, I'll tell you that. Those are the biggest whales in all of Global, and then you have me, $0 spent into the game so far. But yeah, I definitely would not put myself in that lineup. I can be the referee. But yeah, in terms of competition with the other guilds, it definitely is going to be a challenge. I have faith in the organization that we have. Is it going to be enough to make up for the huge gap in spending power? We'll see once cross server comes out. I am confident that when it comes to rotations and when it comes to to planning beforehand, that we do have the experience to eke out a competitive fight or even pull out a win. But again, that's all talk until we get server cross server PvP. But yeah, I am confident in our capabilities. So while I might not be able to 1v1 those guys if it comes to a head-to-head between all the guilds, I'm confident that we can put up a fight. But yeah, any questions that you guys would like to pull out from the chat right now, guys?
Let me see. One from YouTube though. Is it true that on Thursday the level 70 blueprint will come out? Yeah, as I also saw a video from Immortal MVGG, he was saying don't do your HHH right now, wait for Thursday. Wait for when you reach to level 65, so level 70 blueprints will come out. So I was right now I'm not yet doing my HHH just because of that. How true is that statement though? Are we not able to synthesize our level 50 blueprints?
As far as I know, based on CBT, we're not able to anymore because they're being used for modifications. So my experience is that in NA there was no chance of you getting any of the blueprints until level 68. Level 68 you have a small chance of getting some. 69 which is nice, and you can get a bigger amount, but you don't really get the bulk of it until level 70. I'm not sure, maybe he knows something more than I do, but from my experience in NA, usually you need to be within 2 levels of the next level blueprints to even have a chance to get those blueprints. So 68, my experience, 68, 69, 70, those levels you'll get blueprints. But 65, if I'm gonna base it on NA, I don't think you're gonna get anything like 65. It is still good to delay a little bit because you never know. Maybe these changes were made recently, or maybe they were made in Taiwan. Or they change it so that you also have a chance when you get to level 65. But I have a feeling that it is going to be incredibly low, and it's going to be some help, but it's not going to be like a major factor. Maybe you'll have like an extra 1, 2, or 3 blueprints if you're lucky to use for modification, but to get enough to craft the same way that you would get enough for your level 50 on day 1 when you're at like 50 or 40 or 49. I kinda doubt it, but we'll see. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong.
Alright.
Yeah.
That's nice info.
Yeah. But that's how it was in NA. Things could be a lot different in global, which would actually be good. If we can get it early, I'm all for it. Kinda. So let's see here. 40 materials, right? Okay. So yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see. Any other questions that you would like to pull? Thai, do you have any questions on chat that you would like to, that you took note of that you'd like to answer?
Not that I can see.
Okay. But yeah. All right. So, if there's no other questions, we can go ahead and conclude the podcast episode here. If you guys would like to kind of like if you guys would like to have any closing statements, feel free right now, and we can close it off. I didn't actually realize we talked so much about banter. We're already like over an hour into the podcast. So
I mean, we were talking about guilds versus guilds. It was bound to happen.
And that's us, and that's with us not having as much insight as
Mhm.
as we will in the coming weeks too. So it's going to be very interesting for sure. Go ahead, Linky.
Someone should start the fire on Izlude 7. I'm begging you, please.
Oh,
I
gosh.
want some drama.
Why don't you start it, Linky? You can start it.
Oh, you want me
We
to
have
start?
we
it?
have some drama. It's called people stealing BBs in Westmore.
You're right now. Yeah, right. That is the biggest drama we had so far, is people chasing people to other channels just to kill steal them out of spite, and people stealing BBDBs in West Morrock, like every corner of West Morrock.
So I'll start the fire right now. So if you're a whale and you plan to play this game and you haven't decided on what server you're gonna play, come to Izlude 7. Please, I'm begging you. Please, we need more whales. And we want to beat whales. So I'm challenging you right now. If you're not playing yet and you plan to play this game, you plan to whale out, you have a group of friends, invite them here. Izlude 7. What time is the event? Every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We'll be here. Watch out for us.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay, so Linky is willing to 1v1 anybody who wants to go to Izlude 7. And somebody said, Biscocho said, careful what you wish for, Linky.
The target's now on your
Oh
head.
god, there's gonna be a lot of banter on this. This is gonna be fun. Yeah, so again, if you guys have any insight on the other guilds in the other servers, or your representative from those guilds from the other servers, feel free to leave comments when the video is uploaded, and then we'll see if you want to be a guest on the next podcast, and you can speak upon the drama or the action in your servers if there are any, and then we'll go ahead and discuss that in the next podcast. But as of right now, it's hi. Would you like to lead us?
Sure.
There you go.
So, thank you for joining us, Linky, as our guest. And that concludes this week's Dynasty Global podcast. Thank you, everybody, for dropping by.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. And this has been Fatty, and it's been Thai. And thank you again, Linky, for stopping by. We'll see you guys on the next podcast. All right, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, everybody, have a good night.